The body resting in the coffin at the front of the empty chapel had once belonged to Mina Jean Murphy, aged 55 years and 7 months. Wife to Burton and mother to Clarice, Reagan, and Jeb, Mina Jean was the founding member of her neighborhood's Red Hat Society. She had been the kind of woman other women gossiped about behind her back, mostly because they were jealous and didn't have much else to talk about, and not because Mina Jean had ever done anything more scandalous than tip the tart at Marble Slab Creamery 10% instead of 12%. She'd possessed both the nicest car and the prettiest lawn in all the West End side of town, as well as a husband who dutifully handed over his checkbook but otherwise kept to himself. Unfortunately, Mina Jean had also had an aggressive smoking habit. She'd sneaked her first L&M cigarette from her mother's purse as a girl of 16, and all the chilled ambrosia salad and lean fish in the world couldn't combat the cancer that had started growing in her lungs with that first inhale. Neither had the efforts of the pricey pulmonologist she'd been seeing in the city, who couldn't make heads or tails of her condition. The result of this was that Mina Jean had ended up having her hair teased around her head on a coffin pillow at Evans Funeral Parlor on Monday morning, rather than brunching at the Symphony League of Southeast Texas Ladies' Luncheon, as had been printed in her itinerary. Snow Ledger had tended Mina Jean's hair for decades, and today was their final appointment. Ladies of a certain age, Snow's clients had a habit of passing away with shocking regularity. Styling dead women's hair had bothered Snow once, but she'd learned families found it easier to grieve when they recognized the body in the casket. Ensuring her clients went to their eternal resting place with their hair done up properly gave everyone a measure of comfort, Snow included. She lifted Mina Jean's silvery blonde bangs with her comb, then held the hair in place while she doused it with hairspray. Mina Jean had been one of her chattier clients. So far, Snow had bitten back her usual questions of, "How are the kids?" and "What's old Burton been getting up to?" no less than 13 times. 13 is such an unlucky number, Snow thought. But then I guess any number can be unlucky. Poor Mina Jean died at only 55. Snow was already 48 herself. She smoothed a stray strand of wiry blonde back into place and gave it another spritz, keeping the back of her warm, living hand from touching Mina Jean's cool, dead forehead. Snow had never gotten accustomed to the way the dead felt. Frankly, she didn't care to. "Well, Mina Jean, dear, it's almost time for your last party," she said, plucking a piece of fuzz from the dead woman's bright paisley burial dress and adjusting the set of the brooch on her chest. "All that's left to do is get your face on." Aside from hair, everything from the moment the body was brought in from the morgue until it was covered up with earth was conducted in-house at Evans Funeral Parlor by the family's elderly matriarch, Ducey Evans, her daughter, Lenore, only a few years Snow's senior, or Lenore's daughter, Grace, born right after they swore in JFK. It had been that way so long even Snow, who knew almost as much about everything going on in the county as had Mina Jean Murphy, couldn't remember it ever being any different. Ducey's mother had once run the parlor, but Pye Evans had passed so long ago that even Mina Jean hadn't had any good gossip to hand down. The Evans' business was a generational one, passed from daughter to daughter. "You done up Mina Jean real nice, Snow." Ducey Evans gave Snow's shoulder a reassuring pat as she settled into a chair beside the casket stand, short curls damp against her cheeks. The aging matriarch popped a butterscotch candy between her lips with an audible pop, then pulled her bifocals from the bridge of her nose and tucked them into the front pocket of her blouse. "She always liked her bangs teased up like that, ever since she was a girl. Poor thing, spent her entire life trying to grow into her hair.